Truly, I feel that when we are intent on making any kind of difference with students who are historically marginalized, we need to first think about how we're affecting them socially, emotionally. So for me, that big part of that is acceptance, inclusion, and first making sure that those needs are met before true learning can begin.
In the 2018-19 school year, Anaheim Elementary School District implemented Learning Centers. A Learning Center is a service delivery model that includes students with disabilities receiving specialized academic instruction, along with students receiving intervention through multi-tiered systems of support.
I think we have something around 40 kids who come through our room to get intervention, and I love meeting all the different kids and seeing how they all work together and how they all just blend into one.
It's just such a warm, welcoming environment.
In the Learning Center, students receive their specialized academic instruction from an education specialist. What's a little bit different about a Learning Center than what you would see in a traditional special day class is that students rotate in and out of the Learning Center throughout the day based upon their needs. So you will have students who do have an IEP along with students who do not have an IEP but have the same instructional needs functioning within the Learning Center. Kids will come in and out throughout the day.
And they're moving around every 15 to 20 minutes to a different station. And each station is led by a teacher or an IA. Those stations are going to focus on different skills.
We're not a self-contained classroom. We're a service for every student who needs intervention.
In a Learning Center, the students need to be more independent with their transitions because the adults typically are running groups as kids are transitioning.
When they are in the Learning Center, then they are coming back and we're working on their IEP goals and at their instructional level.
By integrating the Learning Center with the reading rotation model, our students are able to get more targeted, intensive, small group instruction in their area of deficit. Because the Learning Center has more instructional assistants and teachers that they're able to put in that mix, we're actually able to vary our groups quite a bit more, to have more skill-specific groups, but also smaller groups. What makes a Learning Center more inclusive is that students are considered part of the general education classrooms.
Students have an opportunity to be in a general ed class. They feel good about coming into the class and seeing more of their classmates. I like that there's an intentional goal for them.
And sometimes there will be an instructional assistant who comes in to help. Usually that's based on the academic requirements or of course the IEP requirements, but the kids don't become as dependent on their instructional assistants as you see in other settings.
They were expected to do all of the same. When there's a writing assignment that goes up on the board or anywhere else, they get the same requirements.
And when I see the kids that come in from the Learning Center, they kind of were meshing all together. You wouldn't know anyone from anyone. You would kind of go like, who's who here? And at that point, is it really that important? We're just including everyone.
These changes are happening, yes, academically, but social, emotional, and confidence level.
They have friends like everybody else, whereas in a contained classroom, I feel that they're too isolated.
You know, we had sixth grade camp, and one of the students that was in my group on a trail one day when we were up at camp was having a really, really hard time. When we were in like the snow that was up to more than our knees, higher than our knees, and about 3 of my boys, they reached out a hand and they said, come on, it's okay. He was crying, the student was having kind of a meltdown that day. And that moment, I thought, oh God, like this really is what this is about, because they included somebody. And they didn't think, like, why are you acting like that? Or I didn't think he was any different. They reached out a hand. And when I saw it, I thought, oh my goodness, this student felt accepted and loved, and they didn't see any problem with him needing their support. That's really our marker of inclusion, is when kids accept each other where they're at, no one's judging anyone, and they're just helping each other out.
We had one child, before she came to Learning Center, she spoke very little, very quiet, behavior challenges, academic challenges, and after being in the Learning Center model just this whole school year, she participated in the Spirit Cheer team, and her squad won first place in the Anaheim of Jeeves cheerleading showcase. She went from barely completing, 5-word sentences or 3-word sentences to being a cheerleader.
They have a sense of belonging to something bigger. So when they do the performances, they're up there with a big class, not just with a class of 5. And I just feel like it gives them more confidence of, I'm part of the school.
As a mom, what we want for our kids, we want them to be included, especially when you have a child with special needs. You don't want to ever feel that your own kids could possibly be excluded for something they had no control over.
The Learning Center makes me feel happy. The center makes me feel happy. It makes me feel happy.
When I'm in the Learning Center, it makes me feel like to be like myself, me.